I am the one who suggested that we have the mics like this. I asked Peter, not so that I could be hands-free, but so I could be like Janet Jackson in the Rhythm Nation video ever since I was a little kid. That's all I ever wanted, so thank you for that. I'm going to speak a little bit. I'm also going to play a song in a little bit, and the song that I'm going to play is one that I wrote, and it's kind of a theme that things are not always what they seem, because when you hear the song, if you're not really listening, you would think that it was the saddest song that's ever been written, and it's actually not. It's got the most positive message of anything I've ever written, and I'm really looking forward to sharing that with you. As far as the theme goes of things not being what they seem, I am a person in long-term recovery. I battled substance and alcohol abuse for many, many years, and survived, still surviving. I've been sober now for about 4.5 years. So, thank you. See, I like to say that to get a round of applause from a room full of strangers, because when I say it on a date, I get, so they're worried that they're going to have to be charming if I'm not drunk, but thanks. I'll stop as many times as you guys want to applaud. I mean, it's your time, but no, it's I find it funny that I'm now at a point in my life where I'm more honest than I've ever been, and I'm being rewarded for that by being asked to speak and being asked to share. And there's still that part of me that was a very sick person that now still feels like a fraud when I get asked to get up and talk. And I'm like, wait, they're asking you to be honest. And they asked you because they heard your honesty. So you're not really a fraud anymore. So it's just a weird, dynamic for me to share my story. I am a musician. I am also a stand-up comedian. More of a musician. We can determine how much of the comedy comes in later on. But I was very much in the lifestyle of being a rock star, and I loved every aspect of it. I loved, being out late. I loved performing. I loved being in front of audiences, and I loved the party as well. For me, though, the party never ended. When I started having some hardships in my life, the loss of my sister, my boyfriend was arrested, and all of these things, one thing after another, and all they did was provide me an excuse to continue the behavior that I had already been practicing, except I was no longer the life of the party. I was a complete and total mess. And but you couldn't say anything to me because I'd been through so much. And I started the more miserable I was, the more I drank and used drugs. And the more I drank and used drugs, the more miserable I was. And just for lack of a better term, the snowball effect was occurring very rapidly, and it was frightening. And I didn't even realize how fast that snowball was rolling down the hill. I started to go to sleep every night in the hopes that that would be the night that I just wouldn't wake up. And one night I almost got my wish. I woke up on a sidewalk in downtown Albany, very busy intersection. I have no idea how long I had been there. I have no idea what happened to me, but I know that that was it. I had had enough. And I have been sober ever since that day. I went to the hospital, got treatment, etc. And to say that that was the worst day of my life, and also say it was the best day of my life, can only be described in how I have lived every single day since then. Performing and working in bars, you come home with a significant amount of cash sometimes. The difference between now and then is when I, shake my jeans out in the morning, I have all of the money I made the night before instead of a small fraction of it. When I was nearing the end of my ride, my partying, I realized at one point that I was starting to lose gigs because I was too drunk to be a rock star. And that seemed impossible, but anything is possible, I guess. Since I have quit drinking, I have been able to quit my day job, as they say in the industry. Don't quit your day job unless you get sober, and don't spend all of your money out before you get home. I'm able to make a living out of doing music full time and comedy sometimes. I have a couple of notes. You know, they say that tragedy equals great comedy. And so when you grow up with like a rough upbringing, you can either develop a substance use disorder or become a great comedian. If you're lucky, you can do both. Sometimes better than others. The hardest thing about getting sober is not just staying away from the drink. It's about your perception of it. And I think that a lot of people's perception of someone that's suffering from an addiction is that they're always on the brink. And so some people look at me like, how can you go into a bar every single night and perform? And I can for many reasons. One, I have dozens of examples of why I should never, ever, ever drink again, right on display. And they're separating me from the shelves of alcohol. So, I mean, you know, there's the angry guy who's going to start a fight. There's the girl who's crying and not walking very well. And I just watch this, and it's on display for me, and I call it the thin, wet line that separates me from the alcohol. But people's perception of this on TV and stuff, because the drama is preferred when you're watching something, is that somebody's like always shaking with the glass up to their lips, or that, you know, at any moment they're just going to use again or drink again. And that's not the case. I've never been like that, and I'm not the exception. I could say that I'm lucky, but no, I'm not the exception. It's not like that. It's just more entertaining when you see something like that. A lot of people grapple with the notion that alcoholism and substance use disorder is a disease. They think that it's more of a choice. And I know that I practiced a lot growing up, but I never once said I want to be an alcoholic when I grow up. You know, I was very good at it, but it wasn't really a career path or something that I wanted to be good at. It's definitely like any other chronic disease, and it suffers. People suffer from it, you know, in any walk of life. Doctors, musicians, comedians, mayors, anybody can be affected by it. Over 23 million people are affected by it, and only 2 million people actually get help. So that's a lot of people out there that are not receiving any sort of help for it. So if there's that many people that are directly affected by their own substance issues, then, you know, multiply that by however many are in their family, or however many are related to them, or even friends with them. And those are the people, that's the real number of people that are affected by it. So I'm just going to share a few more things, because my time is limited, and I want to close with my song. And if you don't like it, it was Peter's idea. But this has been really actually great for me. This is my first time doing this. I don't know if that's been obvious or not. But it's exciting to add this to other things that I've been able to do. I mean, the only bad thing about it is that this is the first time I've had to get up and work on a Monday morning. So I finally get what you guys are all talking about on Facebook. Mondays, am I right? No, this really has been a lot of fun to share, and hopefully I'll get to share it again, maybe a little bit more concise way next time. But, you know, this is their first time doing the TED Talks thing, so it seemed only fitting to throw a rookie up at the end of it to really encapsulate the whole, we're trying something new here. So with that being said, I'm going to close with my song. It's called Half. You can talk amongst yourselves. Now, I've never sang through a mic like this, and I made sure that they knew that I sing louder than I speak, and so they'll be on the volume controls, I'm sure. You would think I'd be a little less shy doing this for a living, but normally I do it for a room full of people that have ironically had a lot to drink. And it makes it just that much easier. For some. Yeah, it was, or people that have their backs to me, you know. I'm not suggesting anybody drink now, but feel free to turn around. Now, the one lyric that is hard to decipher, according to my guitar player, is when I say the sun's not gone, because he sang it back to me and it sounded nothing like that. But it's the sun's not gone down yet. So. I wrote this, so I should know it. Still cold, and I know, oh, I know, if the third time's a charm, then the fourth should be a given. You should not see my wrong, lest you see my right, and if you think you can focus so well in the dark, then you should see my light. You should see my light. The sun's not gone. The sun's not gone. The sun's not gone down yet. This is only half of the dream. The other half's awake. If you're only half what you see, the other half was my mistake. That was only half of my heart. The other half won't break. And if it ever only almost seemed real, at least it didn't almost seem fake. And I know, and I know, oh, I know, if the third time's a charm, then the fourth should be a given. You should not see my wrong, unless you've seen my right. And if you think you can focus so well in the dark, then you should see my light. You should see my light. sleeping, not for long. But the sun's not gone, no, the sun's not gone, and the sun's not gone down yet. The sun's not gone down yet. The sun's not gone, the sun's not gone, the sun's not gone down yet. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Peter. So thank you again. Thank you to Peter and Barb for having me, and thank you guys for listening so intently. Tonight I get to go down and make one of my biggest dreams come true. I'm performing at Gotham Comedy Club down in New York City tonight. I'm going to be way funnier than I just was right now, and I didn't practice any of my material on you guys, but you know, it's possible. So thank you so much again. Have a great day. Safe.